Welcome to Safe Again, a mind-body-soul reset for the phobia tired. Module 1, what is this fear? Understanding phobias and how they work. Thank you for being here. We'll be starting on time. My name's Julie and I'll be leading today's module. If you have any questions, feel free to hold on to them and I'll answer them at the end. This is a safe space, so do whatever makes you feel comfortable. Keep your camera on or off, grab a glass of water, and take a break if needed. No pressure. Just take what you need. As I like to say, inspired by C.S. Lewis, phobias often challenge ordinary people to become extraordinarily brave. Fear may have shaped your patterns, but it doesn't get to shape your future. Today we begin to untangle fear loops so you can reset your nervous system and reclaim your peace. Let's begin. What is this fear? Understanding phobias and how they work. I knew someone once, let's call him Jake, who developed a very specific fear about the deep state. Now, Jake hadn't always been like that. In fact, he used to laugh off conspiracy theories and politics was just background noise. He didn't even vote for Trump. The Apprentice, the television show, had just been taken off air, and the guy's energy was too loud, bold, and unapologetic for him. But then something changed. One night, while scrolling Truth Social, Jake stumbled across a video about secret operations and hidden elites. It was dramatic, grainy, full of shadowy music and phrases like, "They don't want you to know this." And for some reason, that video hit him differently. His heart started racing, a strange sense of dread washed over him. From that day forward, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that something bigger was going on. He'd still go to work, but in the back of his mind he was on high alert. If he skipped a Trump rally or didn't repost a meme praising Trump, he worried he might be watched. Now, logically, Jake knew it was probably nothing. He'd tell himself, I know the deep state isn't real. But what if it is? And that's how phobias work. They don't make sense. They're about the story your nervous system starts telling itself. And the more Jake engaged with that fear, the more his body responded. Tight chest, sweaty hands, racing thoughts. It wasn't really about the deep state. It was about control, about safety, about needing to believe he was doing something to protect himself. Phobias can grow out of a single thought, a flicker of uncertainty, and they stick around because your brain is trying to help you, even if it's going overboard. The good news, these are learned patterns and they can be unlearned. Even Jake got there eventually. One day he said, I didn't repost anything today, and the world didn't end. That was a first step. And it reminds me of someone, let's call her Emma, who had a fear of elevators. She wasn't always that way. In fact, Emma used to be completely fine with them. She worked in a tall office building, lived in an apartment on the 10th floor, and took elevators every day without thinking about it. But one day, everything changed. It happened on an ordinary morning, just like any other. Emma got into an elevator at her office building, usual routine, and the doors opened and the elevator started to move up. She felt something strange. The elevator jerked slightly, and just for a moment, the lights flickered, and that split second felt like eternity. Emma's heart began to race. She felt trapped, like she couldn't escape if something went wrong. Her chest tightened, her breath quickened, and in that moment she couldn't shake the overwhelming feeling of panic. From that day on, something inside her shifted. Every time she approached an elevator, her mind would play that same scenario over and over. The fear crept in. Her body would react automatically. Sweaty palms, shortness of breaths, tightness in the chest. It wasn't about the elevator anymore. It was about the fear of losing control. Emma tried to avoid elevators whenever she could, taking the stairs instead, but sometimes she couldn't avoid them, and when she had no choice but to step into one, the fear would overwhelm her, as though her mind was locked in one moment of panic, replaying it over and over. The thing about phobias is that they aren't always about what you're afraid of. They're about how your mind reacts to the fear, and with Emma, that fear became so ingrained that it became an automatic response. The more she avoided elevators, the more her brain connected them to danger. But here's the truth about phobias. You already know they're patterns, learned behaviours, and just like any pattern, they can be unlearned. And over time, elevators no longer felt like these giant looming obstacles. They were just elevators, and Emma could take them without letting the fear dictate the experience. As Dr. Reed Wilson suggests, the key to overcoming phobia is recognizing the fear for what it is, shifting your response to it. It's not about avoiding the fear, it's about learning how to face it and let it not control you. Why am I even talking to you about this? Because you're smart, capable, aware, but something feels stuck when it comes to your fear. Maybe no one ever told you that your phobia is a reaction, it isn't a flaw, it's just a pattern your mind's learned, and maybe deep down you're wondering, why do I still feel this way when I should be better by now? Phobias can feel heavy, persistent, but remember, they're not permanent. And with the right understanding and tools, you can unlearn. It's time to shift your approach and regain control. Before we begin exploring phobia patterns, let's gently pause and ask ourselves a quiet question. What does well-being truly mean to you? Maybe it's the ease of sending your kids off to school without spending the day caught in loops of checking, praying, and silently rehearsing worst-case scenarios. Maybe it's finally walking across the park without flinching at every pigeon, flap, or drone buzz, because let's be honest, sometimes they do look like they're following you. Maybe it's the freedom to attend one political rally a year because you want to, not because your mind insists you must travel interstate, drag your whole family along, and somehow prevent disaster. Real well-being isn't about eliminating fear altogether. It's about softening the grip, reclaiming your space. It's about being able to hear the noise of anxiety, like wings flapping or propellers whirling, without letting it dictate your next move. You might have read online advice or even heard well-meaning suggestions from doctors, professionals, but here's the thing, unless they understand how phobias actually work, that advice might not be tailored to you. You're not being dramatic, you're not weak, you're living in a mind that has learned to protect you in a very specific way. Urgent ways that no quick tip or generic health blog will truly speak to. So what you're doing here is different. We're not fighting the fear, we're learning to understand it, shift the response, to invite the nervous system into a new pattern, slowly, gently, over time. This is about planting seeds of safety, of permission, of possibility. You're not broken, you're rewiring. And it starts here, even if drones and birds are a bit sus. About me, I'm Julie. I hold a certificate in clinical hypnosis and psychotherapy. I'm a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming and a life coach. I work with the mind and subconscious mind to help you unlock your true potential. Understanding the difference between phobia and anxiety. Let's start with a simple truth. Phobia and anxiety are not the same. They often feel similar in the body. What is phobia? According to the DSM-5, Diagnostic and Statistic Manual for Mental Disorders, 5th edition, a specific phobia is defined as a marked fear or anxiety about a specific object or situation that is actively avoided or endured with intense fear. The fear is out of proportion with actual danger, persistent, typically lasting 6 months or more, causes significant distress or affects daily functioning. The key with phobias, there's usually a trigger, a thing, a person, a place, an event that becomes the focus of fear. And it's not just fear, it's ritualized fear. It's fear with rules. It says, do this now or something bad will happen. Phobia has a pattern. People with phobias often describe their experience as this. It's not just heights, it's forgetting to repost Trump's quote. If I don't like that post, he'll know and I'll be cast out. Missing one Trump rally feels like betraying everything. What if I regret not going? What if something happens? I skip events with non-Trumpers. It's easier than explaining. Even at weddings, I'm checking Truth Social. If I don't show support, I feel like everything will collapse. Once you begin to see this pattern, it's easier to understand what you're working with. The phobia wants you to do something now or else, and that gives you a clue to how to start taking back control. But anxiety feels different. Anxiety is broader. It's not always about one specific thing. It's often more free-floating. The DSM-5 defines generalized anxiety disorder as excessive anxiety and worry about a number of events or activities difficult to control, associated with symptoms like restlessness, fatigue, and difficulty concentrating. Anxiety has a pattern. I keep thinking about what might go wrong. Intolerance for ambiguity, uncertainty drives me crazy. Everything depends on others. I replay conversations and make mistakes constantly. I can't switch off the what if machine in my head. Why this matters? If a health professional gives you advice, like just breathe or take a walk, they don't know what you're dealing with. They don't know you're dealing with a phobia, not just stress. And that advice might not work because it's not tailored to your pattern. Knowing whether you're dealing with phobia or anxiety helps you choose the right tools, and most importantly, it helps you to stop blaming yourself. How your subconscious mind works. Let's talk about how your brain processes things. Yep, your mind is always on, running the show, even when you don't realize. Think about it now. You're breathing, blinking, just going about your day, and you're probably not even thinking about it. It's just happening without you having to lift a finger. Now, let's say you start thinking about something like maybe a hot new pair of shoes, a bowl of popcorn, that burger with extra cheese. Right. We all start obsessing about it. I bet we'll even end up buying those things in no time. But guess what? Your brain doesn't stop there. Imagine thinking about those things constantly for a whole year. What do you think would happen? You'll probably end up with an insane collection of shoes, more than you ever imagined. It will be like we're gearing up for a foot fashion show. But in reality, that might get a little weird. Here's the interesting bit. Your brain is designed to respond to whatever's happening around you. So let's say you've been thinking about those shoes so much that it starts triggering your brain to send out chemical signals, creating that I've got too many shoes feeling. And before you know it, you've set off a whole cascade of reactions in your body. Now your pituitary gland kicks in, the hypothalamus joins in the party, cooking up some peptides to match the emotions you're having about your shoe obsession. These little messengers go zooming throughout your bloodstream, and suddenly your body's packed with receptor sites designed just for shoe vibes. That, my friend, is how loops start, and you don't even have to be consciously aware of it. Your subconscious has taken over. It's just like breathing or blinking. It's running on autopilot. Pretty cool, huh? But here's the kicker. The same thing happens when you're stuck in a loop of worry and fear. Your brain responds to these thoughts, feeding them into your system until they reinforce those feelings, and boom, you've created a pattern that's tough to break. And that's where OCD can sneak in. Instead of letting that worry just pass you, you lock it in and obsess over it and turn it into a big emotional signal. And that's exactly what keeps you trapped in that cycle. So that's what we're about to change. So what do we do to change it? Well, it's about treating those thoughts and feelings as nothing. Yep, nothing. Like that extra pair of shoes you never needed in the first place. The trick is getting those thoughts to pass without giving them any extra energy. Trust me, your mind can do it, and the more you practice, the easier it becomes. But here's the good news. Before we dive into anything practical today, I want to share something quite powerful. Words that have lasted over a century and still feel just as true. James Allen's A Man Thinketh is one of those books that slips under the radar, but it changes everything once you've read it. First published in 1903, it's not a loud book. It doesn't shout promise or overnight success. Instead, it gently invites you to reflect, to pause, to look inward. Its message is simple but transformative. You become what you constantly think about. It reminds us that our circumstances may not always be in our control, but the thoughts we feed our mind, those are ours to choose. And from those thoughts, our character, and eventually our life unfolds. Here's a passage that speaks to that deepest truth. A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all of his thoughts. A man cannot directly choose his circumstances, but he can choose his thoughts, so indirectly, yet surely shape his circumstance. Mind is the master weaver, both of our inner garment of character and our outer garment of circumstance. Let those words settle. You don't need to force anything. Just notice what thoughts you've been planting and consider what might grow if you choose differently. How to start shifting the pattern. We can begin to shift it with a guided hypnosis track, breaking free from something small. This session gently rewires your subconscious, reminding your nervous system that it's okay to relax. In time, you'll notice subtle changes. Maybe you'll feel lighter, more grounded, or more in control of your emotional responses. It's all about planting the right seeds and allowing your mind and body to respond in a healthier way. You are safe now. You don't need to dive headfirst into your fear. You don't need to think about it right now. In this session, we'll simply learn to soften, to gently prepare your nervous system for a new way of responding, without pressure, without force. And if you're not ready for hypnosis yet, that's completely okay. Listening with an open heart is more than enough. You're doing beautifully. So let's begin not with your fear, but something light, like maybe it's the taste of strawberry flavored chocolate when you were expecting caramel, or hamburger that came with tomato sauce instead of barbecue, or that one vegetable, Brussels sprouts, anyone? Just start with something small you don't particularly like, nothing overwhelming. Just notice how your body reacts to something mildly irritating or unwanted, and then let it go. We're not solving anything, we're just observing, softening, creating this space. This session is about gently rewiring the nervous system so that over time it begins to trust safety again, relax and respond to the world in a healthy, more empowering way. You might begin to notice subtle shifts, a sense of calm, a little more space between you and that old reaction. A feeling maybe, just maybe, that you're safe now, because you are. This is not about fighting fear, it's just about planting new seeds of permission, of strength, of possibility. You're not broken, you're just rewiring. And it starts here. Welcome. You are here, and that's a big deal already. This session isn't about avoiding fear or forcing anything to change. It's about softening, listening, letting your nervous system trust again, and in its own time. Phobias can feel big and all-consuming, but they're really just patterns. Well-worn grooves in your mind that have practiced what has been learned, and that can be unlearned, and that's the path we're on. Dr. Reed Wilson reminds us that phobias want urgency. They want to trigger you and push you into action. Fix this, run away, check, rehearse, control now. But we're going to do something unexpected. We're going to interrupt the loop, not with effort, but with ease. You don't have to take your fear seriously anymore, like you used to. There's a softer way forward, and we can begin that here. Take a deep breath in, and then let it flow out slowly. Perfect. Again, breathe in and breathe out, and imagine a wave of calm washing over you, washing through your body like a warm light. From the crown of your head, through your face, spine, arms, all the way down to the tips of your toes with each breath. This wave moves deeper, unwinding, loosening, creating space. Let go, just for now. Now imagine yourself in a peaceful place. Maybe it's a soft armchair by a window, a quiet patch of sunlight on the grass, or even a safe little corner in your imagination where no one needs anything from you. You're held here, supported. And now as I count from 10 to 1, feel yourself drifting deeper into that calm, curious part of your mind. 10, relaxing more deeply. 9, breathing slowly. 8, letting go. 7, floating. 6, peaceful. 5, halfway there. 4, safe. 3, deeply calm. 2, resting. 1, deeply relaxed. Perfect. And in this calm space, I want you to think of something small you don't particularly like. Nothing dramatic, Maybe it's Brussels sprouts. Maybe it's when someone puts the wrong sauce on your burger, tomato instead of barbecue. Maybe it's strawberry chocolate when you're hoping for mint. Just notice how your body reacts to that. Maybe a tiny wrinkle in your nose, a little sigh in your chest, and now let go, because in this moment nothing needs to be fixed. It's okay to notice something you don't like and simply allow it to pass through. No reaction needed. Let that same calm wave flow back in now, rinsing it away, softening everything, resetting you. Now staying relaxed, know that this dislike wants you to do something, to check, to fix, to make it stop. But for now, you're not going to do anything at all. You're just here breathing, observing. The thought comes, the thought goes, the feeling rises, the feeling falls, and you stay calm. And this is how we break the cycle, not wrestling it, not playing the game. You don't have to give fear the energy. You don't have to reassure yourself. You can just let it be and keep breathing anyway. This is your power. Just like clouds moving across the sky, let the thoughts drift. You're not the thoughts. You're not the fear. You're the sky itself. You're the vast and unshaken. Fear might still try and get your attention. That's okay. You don't have to engage. Let it be background noise while you rest in the calm center. You're doing beautifully. Feel a soft glow around your heart, like it's a gentle light from within. This is your strength. It doesn't shout. It doesn't force. It simply is. You are safe. You are steady. You are healing. You don't need to rush. Everything shifts when you stop reacting and start allowing. And now I'll count from 1 to 5, bringing you back to the room feeling lighter, clearer, more peaceful. 1, slowly coming back. 2, bringing that calm with you. 3, feeling refreshed. 4, remembering this feeling. 5, open your eyes, fully awake, grounded, and present. Welcome back. You've just taken a powerful step. And you did it with softness, not force. You're already shifting things 1 breath at a time, 1 moment at a time. Thank you for being truly present and opening yourself up today. As you may already feel, this hypnosis session has gently guided you into a space of deep inner calm and healing. Having already experienced that shift, we now mark the completion of Module 1. What is this fear? Understanding phobias and how they work. I'm excited to continue this journey with you over the next few days. We'll explore a series of 5 transformative modules designed to deepen healing and empower your inner self. Module 1, what is this fear? Module 2, fear versus reality, identifying irrational thoughts and beliefs. Module 3, facing the fear, gradual exposure and confronting your phobias. Module 4, calm in the storm, managing anxiety and physical reactions. Module 5, rewriting your fear, shifting your imagination from catastrophe to empowerment. Each module builds on the progress we've made today. While you still may carry the subtle echoes of this hypnotic state, note that these sessions will guide you further into healing, help you understand, release, and ultimately transform the challenges you face. Thank you for taking this brave step, and I look forward to joining you on this continuous journey of growth and empowerment.